have been waiting and waiting, and finally the moment is coming, and the opening of the season. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. The Rebels offense will go on the attack first. And guys, defenses have been trying to figure out for years how to keep this guy from getting open, and they just can't seem to solve the riddle.
No, this guy has experience. He's been in the big moments, and it's so nice to have a guy that's been in your system, in your scheme. He knows the in and outs. You can move him all over the field. You can't place a premium high enough on a guy that knows the system inside and out.
You're right. I tell you, it was a great day for this offense when he decided to come back for his senior year too. There were a lot of people that thought he might declare for the NFL. They weren't sure if they were going to lose him to the portal or not. He decided to come back. He believes this offense can do something special, and if they're going to do that, then he's obviously going to have a big year.
On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. Brings it in down the left side. And they're getting it rolling with that play to the 42-yard line. And the Rebels headed quickly to the line.
And if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
Bringing the heat. Just too much of a rush, and down goes the quarterback just behind the midfield stripe at the 49.
Oftentimes with play action, you're asking the quarterback to hold on to the ball a bit longer, and you're asking this offensive line to hold up and pass pro a bit longer. Against this athletic front 7 on defense, it's going to be tough.
The Rebels now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. To the air on 2nd down. Quickly complete. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. They've got to get the football to the 32 to pick up the first down. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46.
And it's hard to imagine starting a game any better than this defense has. 2 sacks on the opening drive of the game. Something that they pride themselves on. If they get you in these types of situations, they can pin their ears back and get after you. They've got multiple guys that can be a factor when it comes to rushing the quarterback. You're seeing that very early here in this game.
They kick it away on 4th down. That ball will make its way out of bounds, and they'll mark it dead at the 15. So Kent State's offense will try to get something started with their first possession. We've seen freshmen step into the running back position with big expectations many times. David Herschel Walker, Adrian Peterson, among others, and they hope that they found a guy like that here.
Well, and he's highly touted. He's got the skill set, obviously, highly recruited. Everybody talked about it. But this is a different animal, Palmer. Like when you come into this atmosphere and you got a bunch of full-grown men coming at you, I'm very curious to see how he responds. I know he has the physical ability, but is he ready for this?
He looks really good coming off the bus, I'll say that. He is definitely built different, but he's going to have to run different than he did at high school. David, you know this. You can't bounce every run to the outside and get away with it like you did at high school. I'm really curious to see the discipline he's going to have in this game, running the football now that he's playing against much tougher competition.
Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. Just a hair too much on it from this big-armed sophomore quarterback. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Back to throw, it's Graves. He'll take the deep shot. He is lucky to get that one back, and the last thing you want is to turn it over on your opening drive. It'll be 3rd and long. Wants to throw again. Quick strike complete. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line. The golden flashes are moving quickly down the field. To the air on 1st down. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on 1st down. Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. From the gun, he leaves it with the back. And he'll find enough running room to get it just short of midfield at the 49. And the Golden Flashes come to the line on third down, trying to keep this drive alive. He is going nowhere, and this defense is manhandling this running game on the last couple of snaps. Punt is in the air. Couldn't get away from that cover team, and they've got him down at the 23. Okay, so here comes the offense returning to the field. Quick release by the QB. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they get it out to the 36.
Offenses love the explosive plays through the air, pushing the ball down the field. And look at this. Sometimes it creates some momentum, and you want to capitalize. So you go get on the ball and get ready to run some no-huddle.
Looking downfield on first down. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. And the Rebels moving quickly to the line. Back to pass on second down. Here's the heat. Can't make the connection, and the defense putting on the heat and forcing the incompletion. They couldn't make the connection on second down. Now a 3rd and 7 to keep the drive alive. Rush is on him. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Rebels send out the punt unit. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he stops. Guys, let's see how it goes this time for the Kent State offense. Give to the single back. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe, 2nd and 7. Went to the running game on first down. Now here they come again. The play action fake. Under fire. Can't find a man, and he'll be knocked down at the 40.
This defense, they are tenacious, and they've got guys up front that are athletic and that are so strong and then can collapse the pocket. You saw it right there in that play action attempt.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. Finds his back in the middle. That'll get the job done and move the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 45. The Golden Flashes come to the line with a fresh set of downs. To throw, it's Graves. Just missed his man, gave him just a little too much. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. The give to the back. And a good, solid pickup before the defense cuts him down. And the Golden Flashes are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. They'll go to the ground. Now they're really starting to threaten as they pick up the first down at the 34-yard line. Quick release on the RPO. You'll take 4 yards on first down every time, 2nd and 6. They're about to snap it for the 7th time on this drive. Wants to fire on second down. The short hands, it's Smith. He hauled that one in and got it down to the 15-yard line. All the way down to the 15-yard line, it's first down. Now they'll run it to the right here. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Going to work in the red zone, they can't pick up the first down without getting it into the end zone. Going to sling it on second down. He's got it on the run. That completion takes them down to the 7-yard line, and they are ready to strike. They'll run for it on 3rd and short. He gets it all the way down to the 5-yard line, and that's where they'll have it 1st and goal. The Golden Flashes pounded the rock to move the sticks, now back to work. Keeping it on the ground on 1st and goal. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Golden Flashes!
And this running back is so dangerous down close to the end zone. He's got wiggle, he's got great vision and burst, and he showed all of those attributes right there.
They get set for the point after as we have the first score of the game. And the extra point makes it 7-0. They put it in the end zone with a 12-play scoring drive. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. On the move from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17. He wastes no time and comes out throwing. They've got the screen set up. And he's going to lose yardage. He was looking everywhere for just a little grass and a little air, and none to be found. Got it set up on the outside. And after the stop, that is going to put a bow on this first quarter. That's the end of the period, and Kent State is out front. And we've come to the end of the first as we take a moment to check out the stats so far. Now to see if these guys can get back in the game in the second quarter. So they go back to work after the break, and it is 3rd down. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And down he goes back at the 3.
What a great job by this defense setting the tone early. In the first half, they've been hitting the quarterback early and often. Make him feel uncomfortable. Make him feel that pressure. Keep getting him on the ground. That's why they've built the lead.
And the Rebels will punt this one away. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Here's the punt, and he's done better. Not much on that one. Not able to pop the big return, but they've got the ball back and ready to go with a fresh possession. Guys, let's see how it goes this time for the Kent State offense. On that last drive, defense had no idea what was happening. Run or pass, and it wound up in the end zone, Jesse.
Yeah, you saw the experience in this offense that last drive, too, on that touchdown. Everybody on the same page. These guys have repped these plays over and over in practice and in games, and it's working, Dave.
Yeah, so I got to find a way to disrupt it. I got to find a way to maybe be more aggressive, maybe blitz, mess up this rhythm they got going.
Looking for a man. It's Graves. He's got him. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. And that one had some juice on it, but it's incomplete. So they'll send out the field goal unit. And this one is perfect. And that will extend their lead even further.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
After putting up the field goal, they're set to kick it away. He'll start the return inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. And the offense heads out onto the field to get the drive started. Looking to throw on 1st down. Pressure coming. Down he goes, and that is the last thing this offense needs right now.
How about this defense in this game so far? Already 5 sacks, and we're only in the second quarter. I think if you're the offensive coordinator, you have got to start mixing up these play calls, moving the pocket, get your quarterback away from danger, because it's obvious. This offensive line, they cannot hold up, and they cannot get it done.
They've already racked up big sack numbers. It's starting to snowball, and they are ready to go again. And he works his way forward and finally down at the 15. The Rebels racing to the line in the hurry-up. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Gets it to him on the screen. Absolutely nowhere to go as his defense makes a 3rd down stop. And the Rebels will send out the punt unit. He's going to try to flip the field with this one. A fair catch is called for and made just across the 50-yard line. Guys, let's see how it goes this time for the Kent State offense. Always good to get points on a drive, David, but chip shot field goals can leave you a little empty.
And I think it's great to get points, but the great teams get touchdowns in the red area. You got to get out there this time and execute a little better on this drive. You're
absolutely right, David. And generally, the best red zone offenses are the ones that run the ball the best. So let's see if they can be a little bit more physical on this drive.
Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. Looking to pick up a 1st down on 3rd and short from the 43. Got his man quickly. Good execution. They move the sticks, and they've got it at the 33. And the Golden Flashes have it with a 1st and 10. To the air, it's Graves. Catch in the middle, it's Smith. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. Working well behind the sticks on 2nd down. The lone back's got it. Oh, he's got some space. Brought down after a good pickup, and they're in the red zone at the 20. The Golden Flashes are marching down the field. They'll give it to him again. Getting work done on the ground. He's pulled down at the 14-yard line. Going to work on 2nd down in the red zone, and still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. Power football with the run. He's dragged down at the 12 as they try to cash in on this red zone opportunity. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Golden Flashes line up trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. And he's loose, and he'll take it to the house. Touchdown, Kent State!
I think you love starting the year off with some momentum, and that's exactly what this offense is doing. They're firing on all cylinders, defense doing their job as well. This team getting out the gates to start the season in great fashion.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And with the extra point, they now have a 3-possession lead at 17. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Dynamite matchup this week, fellas. Let's show you what's going down. Baylor has opened up the playbook, and they are scoring in bunches right now. This offense has been electric. They're up by 25 over the Rebels. That's where things stand right now. And, of course, if the script is flipped, you will hear about it.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. The Rebels are in the hurry-up.
Defense gives up the pretty big run. They get the 1st down. And listen, you got to reload quick now because this offense, they got their foot on the accelerator.
There he goes. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the 1st down. And the Rebels, after exploding for that huge run, back to work.
Well, the defense just had to chase that guy down and make a tackle after a long run, and no chance to substitute. They got to get the play call in because the offense is trying to go fast.
Pulls and throws off the RPO. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Looking to throw for it. Here's the pressure. Pass rush coming after the quarterback, and they get him at the 32.
This quarterback is thinking to himself, I need to get an NIL deal at some restaurant so I can take my offensive line out and feed them more, because I don't think they like me very much right now. I've been sacked 6 times in this game. It's time to get that new NIL deal paycheck.
Now on 4th down, they'll try to come away with 3. And very important, not only to generate power, but to find his mark, a 49-yard try from the left. Never a doubt for this big-footed guy. 49-yard field goal is good.
Man, so many more times we're going to say, go for it, be aggressive. Nice to have a guy you can depend on, and you know you're putting 3 on the board. Nice kick, nice job.
Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. And he'll be brought down after a solid effort on that return. No reason to be in a big rush. They have some time here late in the half. Use the play fake, now to throw. Good hands in there by the defense to force the incompletion. So now it's 2nd and long. Scanning the field, it's Graves. This time he's got his man. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. And he can't grab the bullet pass on 3rd down. The golden flashes will bring the punt team onto the field. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. And they'll get him down after the return at the 27-yard line. And now this offense will take the field again. The give to the running back from the shotgun. Turning it on! He now has 61 yards on the ground. A very productive first half here in the season opener. Whistle blows. We are at the 2-minute timeout. And man, oh man, could these guys use a score to cut into this lead. They're going to ride this running back. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Quick tempo, no huddle offense. 2nd down, clock's running. Wants to go up top. Pocket breaking down. Time running out, and he goes down at the 34.
They got more sacks than a grocery store. Goodness gracious, time and time again, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground. This defense having their way.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Oh, they're after him. He's going to run it. At the 45, on his way. And the big gain, and they've got it on the 46. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Looking to throw on 1st down. It's complete on the right side. Good, solid pickup there. Now they can start to smell it with a 1st down at the 31.
And that's good enough for 1st down.
Got his man. Excellent job working through the air there, finding a hole in that defense and picking up a 1st down. The offense calls timeout. It's the 2nd one they've used this half. The Rebels have it with a 1st and 10. They go to the ground. He's tackled right at the 10-yard line, and they're trying to cash in on this drive. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a 1st without scoring. Wrestled down at the 8-yard line as they threaten deep in the red zone. The offense will stop the clock and use one of its timeouts. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. Looking to scramble. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Rebels.
And that was a really big score here at the end of the first half, just for their confidence and their momentum. They're obviously still losing right now on the scoreboard, but you had the feeling something positive had to happen here at the end of the first half for them to go in at halftime, regroup, and come out in the second half now trying to build on that successful drive offensively.
And with the extra point, every little bit counts as they get closer. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. From inside his own 10, let's see what he gets. Needed just a little more help to turn that into a big return. They'll mark him down at the 29. with the lone back. So runs like that can really help your field position as they're up at the 35. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update.
Men, it should come as no surprise that we have ourselves a fun matchup in Kent. And talk about a first half for the dude in that backfield. That coaching staff has been giving rave reviews on a weekly basis. And through 2 quarters today, he's been a complete game changer. He's breaking the will of this defense, and that's something that's just very tough to quantify. And just like that, let's send it back to the fellas at Dick's Stadium.
And the Rebels will kick it away first, and we'll start the second half. From inside the 10-yard line, he'll bring it back. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. Guys, let's see how it goes this time for the Kent State offense. To the air, it's Graves. Finds his tight end. He stopped just a chain link or 2 away from the first down and sets them up beautifully here.
Brings up second down.
Here's the handoff. Breaks into the open. Lowers that shoulder, delivers the blow. He's at the 20. Touchdown, Golden Flashes. He broke away from the defense and they couldn't catch him.
Huge play. It's so nice to have guys that can create these explosive plays like this. You hand it to him, he can do the rest. Look at the speed. Look at the elusiveness. Get into the end zone. Nice run.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the extra point pushes the lead to 14. Only took 2 plays to find the end zone on that drive, and gashing them on the touchdown run finished it off. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Offense making its way onto the field to start the drive. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. Gets some work done there. Pick up a 4 to the 22. The Rebels want to crank the tempo. Running back searching for a hole. Plows through the defense.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
Throws to the wideout. How about a little rhythm that you can tap your toe to on that throw and catch for the first down? This offense lines up feeling awfully good after that big play.
And that's a first down for the offense.
Wants to throw on first down. Right on the money. Excellent job rallying to the ball, and they knock him down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Oh, better look out! And he'll be brought down. And this offense can ill afford to come up empty on this drive, already trailing by multiple possessions. On 3rd and short, just trying to get enough for the first down. He gets it to the 38-yard line, and they'll pick up a fresh set of downs. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Rebels are flying down the field. They'll send the back in motion. Wants to go up top on first down. That pass is incomplete. On 2nd and 10, a 4 wideout set, trips right.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on first down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have that chance to be complete.
To the ground with the back. They finally get him stopped, and this veteran junior running back comes up with a nice play. First and goal, and this feels like their chance to make a game of it. Grab behind the line. It's Hainsworth. And he'll take it in and house it. Touchdown, Rebels.
Number 3.
A methodical drive, soul-crushing, spirit-breaking, and it ends in a touchdown.
And listen, I know everybody wants the big plays, the big, long touchdowns and all that stuff, but putting a drive together like that is very difficult to do time and time again, and it's demoralizing for the defense. Great drive by the offense.
And the extra point is good as they close to within a touchdown, 24-17. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Terrific showdown this week, guys. Let's take a look at what's going on. Liberty is in front. They've led for most of the way. However, Sparky isn't exactly putting this one in the win column just yet. They're up by 10 over the Rebels. Any big developments in this one, we've got you covered with the best studio team in the business. Gentlemen?
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. And the defense forced that incompletion with the deflection. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Dropping back, it's Graves. It's complete. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go. Just an obvious holding call there, and one that just kills an offense's momentum. Back to pass. Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46.
You know, it's going to be so important for this offense to get better up front protecting and try to give this quarterback a pocket to throw from, because David, right now in that last play, he had no chance.
Yeah, and step one in stopping a good passing attack is always being able to affect the quarterback. And it's not always with sacks, and sometimes it's with pressures. But when you get the sacks and now you get them behind the sticks and put them in more predictable situations, that is exactly what you want from your defense.
Wisely avoiding the big hit with the slide. And the golden flashes line up to punt it away. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. Going to make sure he doesn't get a return on this one as the punt bounces out of bounds. Quarterback empties his backfield. He'll start this drive going to the air. He's got an open man. Hauled down, but they'll move the sticks as he picks up the first down. The Rebels want to pick up the tempo.
And it's frustrating as a defense when you give up that first down and you give up that pass play. But here we go with this offense. They're right back on the ball. You got to flush that. You got to get lined up, and you got to communicate.
And this one will be stopped for no gain. What will they dial up on second and a long way to go?
And this offense gets nothing done on that play, but look at them. They're continuing to run this tempo. They want to try to do something to get a spark going to create a big play.
There was just nowhere to cut back. Great job by the defense, and he'll have to take the loss. On 3rd and long, you'll need to push it downfield. Makes the grab. He'll be stopped about 2 yards short of a first down. And the Rebels looking to convert on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Big tight end makes the grab. It's a first down. Well, they just drained all the suspense out of the 4th down conversion, moving the chains easily.
And that's a play the defense has got to be able to make, guys, right there on 4th down. You're in the 3rd quarter, second half. You're playing at home, and it's a close game. You've got a opportunity to seize momentum, and you just get the... That momentum is going to be a big factor here in the second half. Someone had to step up and make a play, and they just couldn't get it done.
Second down, they'll go to the air. Got his man on the outside. He's there to make the stop, and they threw it in reverse, losing yardage on that play. On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. He did not make it a stone wall on third down. He'll send out the kicker here. And after putting an earlier field goal up, they'll try it again, this time a 45-yarder. Tried to give it enough body English, but he missed it. After that miss, still a 7-point game, guys.
And sometimes I just feel like fourth down, man, just go for it every time. Like the field goal miss, make rate. And listen, kickers have improved the last couple of years, but you left some points off the scoreboard there.
Oh, he's got some space. Gets it out to the 38-yard line after picking up 10 on that one. Might as well give it to him again. Snuffed out behind the line of scrimmage, and we have not seen much of that. What a day he's had so far. To the air, it's Graves. Going to try to pop one on the screen. They'll stop him just short of the first down marker on the screen. The Golden Flashes are at the line trying to move the sticks on third and short. He's going to look for a man on third and short. Gets it out fast. They convert on third down as he gets it to the 46-yard line. To the air on first down. And the defense will corral the quarterback, and down he goes at midfield.
And I love playing man coverage on the back end, getting those receivers' faces. Don't let them feel comfortable and run zone where they can find all these holes in the zone, and my rush can't get home. Pressure them, pressure them, pressure them.
And the Golden Flashes have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. They'll give it to the back. Still running at the 40. Big pickup on the ground here to keep this drive moving and give them a first down. The Golden Flashes come to the line with a new set of downs. Motion from the wideout. Using his legs, it's Harvin. Trying to pound their way forward. He picks up a couple to the 31. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. One man in the backfield, and he gets it. Drives ahead for 3 to the 27-yard line. As they get set to snap it, just about to reach the end of the quarter. Right back to the well. Just outside the red zone as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 22. If you like old school running games, this has been the game for you and a couple of guys who starred through the first 3 periods. Not only is the scoreboard on their side, but so too is time as we open the 4th. So first down, we'll open up the final period. They're trying to slow that rush down with the draw. Knocked down, but not before he crossed into the red zone and picked up 4 yards down to the 17. The give to the tailback. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. 5 yards away from another third down conversion on this drive. They're already 2 for 2. Finds his big tight end. They'll make the stop about 3 yards short of the first down. So on 4th down, here comes the field goal kicker in a huge spot. Never a doubt. And now the lead is extended a little further.
You know, it's funny, in an age where there's so many college football analytics and everybody wants to go for it on 4th down, at the end of the day, it still comes down to managing. Good decision by the head coach here in the 4th quarter. By kicking that field goal, you've now made it a 2-possession game. Your chances of winning this thing have now gone way up.
And he takes this from inside the 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. They'll try the run. Just gets it to the 28, pickup of 1. The Rebels want to move quickly.
Defense came into this one knowing they were going to see some tempo. They've got to get the call from the sidelines, get it communicated, get lined up.
They'll go to work in the air on second down. Finds the tight end. They're able to get him stopped just shy of the first down marker. And the Rebels come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep the drive moving. He'll throw on 3rd down. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down. The Rebels decide to punt it away. They may have to pay him overtime. He's punting for the 5th time today. Hand goes into the air for the fair catch, and the catch is made around the 40. Quick handoff. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Looking downfield, it's Graves. And he really needed to hold on to that one, but it was knocked loose, and 3rd down is coming. And now this offense will try to figure out a way to move the chains after that 2nd down incompletion. On 3rd and long, try to convert through the air. He's got it inside the 30. They'll ride him out of bounds after the good pickup spotted at the 25-yard line.
Man, we knew coming into this game just how explosive this offense could be, and a big part of that is their ability to throw the football. They've scored a ton of points, and it's because they can generate plays like that. When this quarterback sees the one-on-one matchup he wants, he is not afraid to pull the trigger, and he hits a big throw there.
Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line 2nd and 7. Quarterback running on the draw. Got it into the red zone, dragged down at the 18-yard line. And the Golden Flashes come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep this drive moving. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see if it stands.
Hold on.
A costly penalty wipes out that 3rd down conversion, and now they'll back up and try it again. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. And it's incomplete despite some serious arm strength shown there. So here we are on 4th down, and this field goal kicker is going to face all the pressure in the world. Good right down the boulevard. And now the lead is even bigger.
I really like the decision by this offense because now they got to score 2 touchdowns. Time is not on their side. I can stay very, very conservative. Use that clock. I like the decision by this offense.
He'll bring it out. It's Flowers. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Guys, this offense will go back on the attack. They're going to open this drive with a pass. Under fire. Hit as he throws. And it's incomplete, deflected, knocked away by the D. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Leaves it with the back. Into the pile, maybe got one. He stopped at the 21. And the Rebels come to the line in the hurry-up. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Down by multiple possessions, you can't come up empty on this drive. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. It's incomplete, and they desperately needed to keep that drive going, and they couldn't make the connection. On the run, it's Harvin. Wrestled down at the 8-yard line as they threaten deep in the red zone. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. It's a draw. He's brought down at the 7-yard line, and they are threatening to take it in. The terrain gets rough this deep in the red zone. 3rd down, they can pick up the first without scoring. Touchdown, Kent State! Fired in from the red zone for
score.
And how about it? Everyone getting involved, getting the big tight end involved. This offense has done an unbelievable job scoring points. This defense has had no answers. Just keep it rolling, offense.
Looks as if they'll go for two with the subtlety of a sledgehammer with all these big guys. Looking to throw, it's Graves. He's got it. Two-point try is good as they build on this lead. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field?
17.
Fielded in the end zone, it's Flowers. Rolling the dice to bring it out of the end zone did not work out as he stopped at the 13.
First and 10.
From the shotgun, the inside give. Finds his way ahead for 3 out to the 16. Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7.
And that wasn't a big game, but look at the offense. Right back on the ball, ready to call a play, ready to go fast.
Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Offense a little backed up here, and boy, would it help to convert this 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. And the Heat gets there, and they get him down at the 14-yard line. Oh, man, they've already lost one quarterback today. Now the backup comes in and has to take a shot.
Hey, I might think about protecting my QB a little better. I already lost one. Now your second guy gets hit, and you got to keep this guy healthy. You got to keep him upright. You got to protect your quarterback, man.
The Rebels will line up to punt it away. And these guys have been busy. 6th punt of the day. I wouldn't quite call it a shank, but that's not exactly going to go on the resume reel. Guys, let's see how it goes this time for the Kent State offense. Wide receiver comes in motion. They'll keep it on the ground. The clock is on their side. Able to pick his way forward for a decent game before the defense gets him down. Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. From the gun, the running back tries to hit the hole. Stop is made at the 35-yard line, a 5-yard gain there, and it's a first down.
And that's a first down.
Gonna run it, it's Harvin. And he never had a chance, just stopped cold as soon as he got it. The Golden Flashes trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Keeps it on the draw. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. 3rd down, and they need 15 after 2 negative plays. That's reeled in. It's Smith. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. This field goal unit getting some serious run. They've already been out there 3 times. The kicker will try it again. Smashes it between the uprights. And that lead grows even bigger.
And they just tack on more points to this big lead. Listen, 4th quarter was sitting extremely pretty. All we got to do, not give up big plays, make them earn everything they get the rest this way, and we looking pretty good.
On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. A little bit backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. Zings it complete to the right. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. They'll go back to the ground. May not be the most memorable play of the day, but it's important as he gets them out to the 25-yard line. The offense takes a timeout with 30 seconds left. And the Rebels come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. Hauls it in. Timeout called by the offense, 24 seconds left on the clock. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 34.
Timeout, Rebels.
Looking downfield on first down. Makes the catch. It's Hainsworth. Offense will use a timeout. 19 seconds left in the game. The Rebels with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Looking to fire. Here comes the heat. Under heat, and he gets rid of it. Didn't have much of a choice there, but to get rid of it. And the Rebels are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Wants to throw on 3rd. Couldn't find a man and just had to throw it away to avoid a negative play. They bring the punter onto the field now. He makes a fair catch, couple of steps inside his own 25 at the 23-yard line. One more play to pad the stats. You work all offseason for that, the chance to take a knee and punctuate an opening victory to this season. We sensed a great deal of confidence, almost a smugness from this coaching staff. And these guys on the field, it's as if they knew they were going to win.
Yeah, playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and I think they really felt like they had a real good game plan offensively and defensively coming into this one, David. There were some matchups on the field they thought they could exploit. We saw that happen here.
No doubt. Good job by this coaching staff, understanding who's out there to make plays, feeding them the football, offense, defense, special teams, all working together to get the W.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.